Floor finish is made up of volatile ingredients and monomers that bond together into polymers when the volatile ingredients evaporate. These bonds can be broken by high pH or low temperature. That's why when floor finish gets cold, it starts to powder. Floor stripper is alkaline, meaning a high pH solution. This high alkalinity breaks down the zinc bond in the floor finish polymers, allowing the finish to be lifted off the floor. Stripping frequency will be determined by a number of factors, including type of finish used, volume of daily traffic, type of traffic, and daily cleaning procedures being followed. High traffic floors such as large food retail stores are typically stripped every year, while floors using a low maintenance program with a deep scrub interim step can often go 5 or 6 years before stripping and recoating is required. But eventually, all finished floors need to be stripped and refinished to look their best. Over time, finish yellows with age and hardens as it goes through multiple burnishings. Periodically stripping and reapplying floor finish from scratch will ensure that your floors stay looking their best. Watch for yellowing or browning, patchiness, or the appearance of a dirty floor even after the floor has been washed. These are indicators that the floor needs to be stripped. Stripping a floor is not a quick or easy process. Choose a time when the floor can be closed off from the public for a sufficient amount of time. Plan for at least 2 hours for every 10 by 20 foot section, and more time for sections at room edges. The key to proper stripping of floors is patience. Plan to have to strip the floor multiple times. One application will lift a maximum of 6 layers of finish, fewer if the finish is older and harder. Most floors have inconsistent areas that are thicker, particularly at the edges, and care needs to be taken to ensure these areas are stripped away. Laying down finish on a poorly prepared floor doesn't save time. It simply makes the floor appear blotchy and will require that the floor be stripped sooner. Your floor stripping task will need a floor stripper, an old but clean mop, damp cloths to clean baseboards, 3 buckets for stripper, neutralizer, and clean water, scrapers, both large and hand-sized scrapers are recommended, a floor machine with a stripping pad, an auto scrubber or wet-dry vacuum, neutralizer, and wet floor signs or barriers to keep foot traffic off your floor. Dilute Easy Way with water at a ratio of 1:1 to 1:3. If you're using another brand of stripper, follow the dilution directions for that product. Saturate the area with the stripper solution and allow it to sit on the floor for a minimum of 10 minutes. Keep applying to areas of the floor during the sit time to ensure the floor doesn't dry out. Plan your areas out before starting. The best way to strip and recoat the floor is to strip the entire room, then reapply completely fresh finish. If, however, you only want to strip and recoat a section of flooring, have a partner who will monitor the edges of the area with a mop and bucket filled with clean water. This person will outline the area in water and continue to clean up areas at the border as the section is stripped. Use mats or blankets for equipment when not in use to prevent contaminating areas you're not planning to strip. After 10 minutes has elapsed, check your progress with your scraper and reapply more stripper solution to the areas you've scraped. Checking your progress with scrapers will tell you how much, if any, agitation is going to be required and what areas need to be focused on. Use a floor machine with a black stripper pad to agitate the area. Move the floor machine in a rectangular pattern, moving backwards. Then turn 90 degrees and go over the area again to ensure maximum effectiveness of the agitation. If you get stripper solution on baseboards, use a damp cloth to keep those areas cleaned off. Use the machine to bring moisture to the drier areas. Always keep the floor section wet. Floor finish is always inconsistent. There will be areas with finish that is harder to remove, particularly at the edges. If necessary, heel the machine to allow the floor pad more pressure. Healing the machine involves turning the handle downward on one side and leaning into it with your hips so that you can apply more force to the edge of the pad, allowing you to scrub off harder to remove finish. Once you're finished scrubbing the area, use the automatic scrubber or wet-dry vacuum to pick up the slurry. When you're picking up the slurry, walk only on the areas where the slurry's been picked up in order to keep from recontaminating your floor with stripper. Check several areas of the section with your scraper, particularly at the edges, to see if another application of stripper is required. If so, then repeat the process of soaking, waiting, agitation, and pickup until your scraper comes away clean in all areas. Wash your newly stripped floor with fresh, clean water to remove as much of the stripper residue as possible. Then wash again with a neutralizer, such as Nutri-Rinse or Neutralizer Conditioner 1060. For floor finish to adhere correctly to your surface, you need to start from a near neutral pH. Neutralizers are not neutral in pH. Rather, they're acidic to counterbalance with the alkalinity of the stripper. After each application of neutralizer, test the floor in several areas to determine its pH and reapply only if necessary. Over-neutralizing can cause your floor to become too acidic, which will cause issues with your finish application. Allow the floor to dry completely. Once dried to the touch, complete your strip and recoat task by following the finish application steps of your finish program.